Hello, hello. Welcome to the weekly live show today. I'm just seeing if we're live inside the Facebook group. So hold on a tick. I'm just refreshing my screen. Let me know if you're here, if you can see it all okay. There we are. Looks like it is working. So we will hold on just about a minute or so to give you time to find the live, to get settled. Let me know how your week has been. I'm looking forward to going back and reading through the Pot the Champagnes from yesterday. I was teaching all day yesterday, so didn't get the opportunity to, but I will after this. Michelle, good morning, my lovely. So today we are talking about professional yet friendly and how to strike the right balance. I'm just going to go and make sure I press the record button. Okay, so let us dive in. Welcome to today's weekly live show where we're going to be talking about striking the right balance between professional and friendly and where that might need to be tweaked or changed slightly. If you're new here, I know I've got a lot of new people. My name is Laura Green. I am a yoga teacher based in Southampton, Hampshire. I've been teaching yoga for 13 years, practicing for 22 years. I still can't quite get over that. Don't feel that old. I teach a variety of styles. I also mentor yoga teachers, and I am an author of the book Teaching Chair Yoga. Most of you know our next 6-week business mentorship program is starting on Saturday. Today is the last chance to enroll. So if you'd like to join Fast Track to Full to get a 6 weeks business training, crack on that today and we will start tomorrow. Anyway, let's dive into today's topic, professional yet friendly. So I have some notes in front of me. And to be honest, a lot of the time, the topics I choose for these weekly sessions, they're not planned out in advance. They are a response to what I'm seeing being spoken about, being asked here in the group, what repeating themes I'm seeing, and also what's coming up in my one-to-one mentorship. So this response to professional yet friendly is covering some of the questions I've been seeing coming up a lot. And this is a topic that's quite important to me. I think there's even a chapter in my book that's something like professional, yet not too professional, something like that. So it doesn't matter whether you are teaching one yoga class as a passion inside of running the rest of your life, or if you are a part-time yoga teacher, or if you are a full-time yoga teacher, you want to set up your business in a way that is professional. So professional isn't just for those that are doing it full-time and not if it's a hobby. Professional is something that we all want to be. And why is it really important to be professional in your business? Because professionalism brings trust. And we are here to serve our communities through yoga. Now, we know a lot of people are actually a little bit nervous the first time they try anything new. People can be nervous about trying yoga. They can be apprehensive about trying something new. And if you've been practicing yoga a long time, you've probably forgotten that. But put yourself in that beginner's shoes again. Maybe you want to go to a dance class, or you want to go to a rock climbing, bouldering class. Think about something you might want to do that is new and what you would need to feel safe, welcome, and comfortable. A lot of that safety, welcome, and comfortable is this balance of professional and friendly. I had a new student at class on Monday. She hasn't done the yoga for a very, very long time. She's had a back pain throughout COVID, hasn't really done anything since the lockdowns. And I could see how nervous she was. And how are we going to put someone at ease? By being professional and friendly. So the professionalism comes to your process from someone seeing your classes, to booking your classes, to turning up at your classes. So professional is, how do they book? Is it clear? Do they ring you to book? Do they email you to book? Is there a professional confirmation of their booking or their free first class that tells them the things they need to know? Where is it? Is there parking? What should they wear? What should they bring? And giving everybody exactly what they need to know. That can be automated through a booking system, or that can be done manually through your email. But that professionalism is so important. And then the friendly comes in how we greet that student when they arrive at the class. I always say to my teacher trainees, and it's a really silly little point, but it makes such a difference. When you're talking to a new student or when you're greeting someone, be at their eye level. Be eye to eye. Now, this makes sense, but it's really easily overlooked. Say, for instance, a new student comes in, maybe you're busy talking to somebody else, and that new student goes and rolls out their mat, looks at everyone else is sitting down, and they sit down. Then you go over to that student to give them a one-to-one greeting, but maybe you stand, so you're not at eye level. That doesn't feel friendly. So I'd say squat down, get to eye level with your student and have that greeting. Or it can go the other way around. Maybe you're actually sat on your mat and your student's coming over to you to introduce them. They're standing, you're seated. Stand up to greet them at that level. It's a really small thing, but I see it overlooked all the time. So that friendliness. So I want to zoom out of this and look at where professional can steer us a little bit wrong. We have ideas as to what makes a professional, proper business. And a lot of people start first and foremost with thinking they need a logo. You will have heard me say this time and time again, and I will stop saying it when I no longer continue to see it, is yoga teachers using logos too much. Okay? Yes, you can put a little logo on something if you wish. You rarely see a logo of mine, pretty much sit on invoices. A logo is not a business. And sometimes people aim to make a business seem bigger than it is because we think how big it is makes it seem professional. So we'll have a logo. You'll hear people start to use the words like we run yoga classes rather than, hi, I'm Laura. This is a picture of my face. I run yoga classes. A professional yoga business is a personal brand. Don't try to be bigger than you are or take your identity away from it. Logos, they might seem professional, but they have real little use for a yoga teacher. Your logo is your face. It is your face. It is your eyes and your smile that gives someone a personal connection with you and the feeling of your warmth. So do a quick audit for me. And again, I'll stop nagging you when I stop seeing it. Have you been using your logo as your Facebook profile, your Instagram profile? On your website, is your logo front and center and then some kind of a stock image? Please audit that, remove your logo and change it to a picture of your face. Same with your business name. I know I've said this before, but if you're hiding behind a brand name rather than your personal name, please stop. It's okay to have a brand name like this here is the Yoga Teacher Collaborative, but you hear me introduce myself behind it all the time. Hi, I'm Laura. So make sure that you're not hiding behind big brand names and logos. It's a good thing to be little old you in your little dusty village hall. That's what people want. That is not a lack of professionalism. Another place I see professionalism standing in people's way is photographs. So I was literally saying then about using photograph of your face for your profile, but then the flyers you're using, the posters you're using, what you're posting on social media. I see a lot of people using stock photography. So especially if you use Canva, which I do, we can just search in Canva and pull up images of everything. And the stock photography looks professional, looks great. So you make these nice looking graphics, but they're cold and they don't work. In all honesty, they don't work. People on social media don't want to see beautiful, polished brands. Social media is a place, and your flyers and your posters, of real life, real people. So please try to step away from using stock photography. And then when it's not stock photography, hear a lot of people saying, I'm not putting a picture of myself. I'm not showing up on social media. I'm not doing flyers because I don't have any nice photographs of me yet. And maybe you feel that you need to go and book a photographer, or maybe you need to wait for the perfect day when you're having a good hair day, the weather's nice, and you can go and get a friend to take your photos. And in the meantime, you're just not really showing up. That need to be professional is standing in your way. Just get your phone, put it on a tripod, use a remote timer, and take your picture as you are today. Wrinkles, black bags, warts and all. We need to change this overly polished aesthetic of yoga and show what real yoga looks like. Real yoga are yoga classes where you can come in a baggy old paint-stained t-shirt and Tesco see-through leggings if that suits you. This perfect aesthetic of yoga needs to go. It needs to show real life. And how do we do that? By showing ourselves in real life. The next place I think I see over professionalism standing in the way, and this is a few things that come up in the Yoga Teacher Collaborative over the last couple of weeks, is admin. There is necessary admin in your business that you're probably not doing. And there's admin in your business that can be streamlined that's probably becoming a little bit of a barrier. And this is coming down to registration forms, in all honesty, booking systems and registration forms and disclaimers and all of that. You want to have a really simple way that people can book your yoga classes. This is especially going for new students. If someone is coming to your website, they're booking via your website, or they're booking on email to attend your class, they're still new to it. They don't know if they love your yoga class yet. They're still just dipping their toe in. And everybody hates admin. So if you're then putting in the way that, okay, so you then send them an email confirmation that has a lengthy health questionnaire. They need to print the health questionnaire. They need to fill it in. They need to sign it. They need to scan it back in and then send it to you, all before they can come to a class. That unnecessary admin could really stop someone coming to your class. Same on your website. I go on a lot of websites, yoga teacher websites, imagining I'm new. And the first thing I have to do is sign up for an account, put in a name and a password, and then fill in a health form, and then read a map policy, and then read a studio policy before I can just come to a class. Please remove these administration requirements before someone can come to your class. If you want to see how I do it, go onto my website, click free first class, sign up for a class, and you'll see I've cut it down to super minimum. Minimum I can get away with, really easy tick box. Before I did it online, what I had was a very simple, basic student registration form. I would print that out. I should be doing that admin. I would take that printed paper registration form. Maybe you could have an iPad version if you don't want printed paper. I would take that to class. Then when a new student arrived, say, have a conversation and then ask them just a quick fill in the form. Because yes, we want their email address. Yes, we want them to sign a disclaimer, and we want to know about their injuries. But the form, it's not about the form. If someone has injuries, medical conditions, needs, what do they need? A conversation with you. They need the conversation, not the form. Okay? So stop being overly focused on, have I got the form filled in? Make it super easy, and then dedicate the time to Hi, thank you for coming to yoga. Have you done any before? Do you have any aches, pains, injuries, anything you want to chat to me about? There's the friendly, have the conversation. And there's a dear friend of mine, she's also in this group. I'm sure she won't mind me using her as an example. She did my teacher training course a couple of years ago, and we have a register for everybody that comes to the teacher training course that's attending the community class. So my real students book in for a community class and my trainees teach it. So I always ask one of my trainees to be at the door, welcoming the class as they come with a register and ticking them off. And this beloved friend of mine had her head in the register and was ticking them off like this. And she was so focused on the admin task that she wasn't making the friendly human connection. So I had to ask her to put the frickin' register down. I was more bothered about her making eye contact, having a smile and greeting that student in a friendly way than whether she missed maybe taking someone off on the register. So really be aware. Have you putting in admin and forms that is making it harder for a new student to come to your class? We do not want to put barriers in the way. You can have those conversations face to face at class. Couple of other things I was thinking. One might be, is the need to do something professionally costing you more money? So a question we see a lot of time here in this community is about video hosting platforms. So if you are filming classes for your students that you want them to have access to buy, if you're running an online course that you want to be able to send people replays of, everybody always comes and asks for what paid for platform to host it on. My default is I want to keep my yoga classes as affordable as possible. So that means I need to keep my costs as minimum as possible. So before I look for a paid for solution, I'm always going to look for a free solution. And knowing it's not where your video is hosted that is important, it's the quality of the yoga in the video. So if you've been looking at video platforms and things, my answer is always, I use YouTube. I run so many online courses, and some of them are really expensive courses. Some of them are much more affordable courses, but all of them I host on YouTube. This might work for you, it might not work for you. I put things on YouTube as unlisted, so they're not open to the public, and then I run it all through my email. So I'll say to people, please create an email folder for this course. I will send them a pretty email done in my email software. There's the name of the course, a link to a workbook, PDF, a link to the YouTube video, and that's all in email. You can use unlisted playlists. So if you want someone to have access to a video library, it can just be an unlisted playlist in YouTube that they pay for access, they get the playlists. And platforms might work really, really well for you. So I'm not knocking a platform, but ask, is it costing too much for the return? And rarely do the platforms themselves generate you customers. So look at where you're maybe paying for things because you think that's the professional way to run it, and you could actually do it yourself and minimize your costs, which then means you're making a better margin, or you can charge your courses at a cheaper rate and make them more affordable. So where maybe aren't you being professional enough, and where could you maybe be a little bit more professional? This is always going to come down to customer service for me. I am not seeing enough yoga teachers emailing students one-to-one with professional customer service. If someone has come to your class for the first time, it's week one of a beginner's course, or they're new to a class, they need an email when they book confirming what they've got to bring, where they've got to park. They need a one-to-one email 24 hours before their first yoga class, super brief and friendly. Hi, Sean, really looking forward to seeing you at class tonight. Reminder, you're booked in for 7 p.m. Monday. Have you got everything you need? Do you need me to bring you a mat or anything? super brief, friendly, and professional. Then they need a follow-up email within 24 to 48 hours of their first class. Hi, Sean. Thank you so much for coming to class with me last night. It was lovely to meet you. Do you have any questions? Be great to see you next week. Book in here. Those 2 emails are mandatory for me. Cut the rest of the admin and do those. Same if you are running events. Yes, someone would have had the confirmation email when they booked your event, but they need a final details email to remind them of the event, to remind them of what they bring. And anyone that's come to an event, so above and beyond a class, needs a thank you for attending email 24 to 48 hours afterwards, following up on anything you promised to follow up on. Another area I'd like to see yoga teachers being more professional is how quickly you respond to inquiries. I'm surprised how often I hear this, especially from kind of corporate organizations saying, they've emailed a few yoga teachers, but they haven't heard anything back. Or, they emailed a yoga teacher and asked for a pricing proposal. They haven't received anything back. If you are receiving new inquiries to come to your yoga classes, to come to your events, people replying to posts on your social media, please respond to them within 24 hours. Okay? It's really important. Another area you might be being too professional, Facebook. Okay? Are you running your whole social media marketing on Facebook via a professional Facebook business page? You probably are, and then you're leaving your personal page personal. And this used to be 10 years ago what I would advise everyone to do. Keep your personal page private, don't accept friend requests from your students, it's private, and then run your yoga through a business page. This has changed in the last 2 to 3 years because Facebook do not show anything you put on your business page to many people because they want you to pay to boost that with adverts. Whereas if you are posting on your personal page, a lot more people will see it. So clean up your personal page so you don't mind it being public. Turn it to public, friend request your friends, and share about your yoga classes on your personal page. Still keep your business page because you're not meant to run a business on Facebook through your personal page. We do, you're not meant to. We're small fry, Facebook don't care, but still have a business page, but actually run it through your personal. Friend request your students, talk to them in Messenger, make friends that way. Where you might be a little more professional and could be more friendly in pricing conversations. This must be the most commonly asked question in the Yoga Teacher Collaborative. I have been asked to teach for X. They've asked me what my rate is. What should I say? There is no set rate for anything. And asking somebody else what you should charge for something isn't that helpful because we don't know all the details. We don't know how much you want to do it. Is it a weekly event? Is it a monthly event? How long's the drive time? We don't know the person you're working for. We don't have the details. My opinion is if someone is coming to ask you, could you teach yoga classes in my organization on my rate? They should probably tell you what they can pay. But it just doesn't seem to be what people do. So they ask you for your rate and you are stuck between wanting the work, so likely to offer a lower rate and undersell yourself when they might have paid a higher rate. So we get stuck in this not knowing, and you feel you have to have this professional set rate. Dear corporate company, my set rate is £100 per class. You feel you have to be able to have that set rate. Whereas no, being friendly will get you much further here. So somebody is asking you for a rate and you're unsure. If you're sure, crack on, go ahead and quote. If you're unsure, say something like, Dear Mr. HR, thank you so much for inviting me to this opportunity to share yoga classes with you. I would love to have a conversation about what I can offer, what you need, and what's going to be the best working relationship for us. Try and have a conversation. And then in that conversation, be vulnerable and put your cards on the table. Mr. HR, I would love this opportunity to work with you, and I really think I could support your organization. In all honesty, I am not sure what the pricing rate should be for this because I haven't worked with your company before. I really do want to work with you, but I don't want to kind of offer something too low that actually isn't going to be covering my needs because I don't understand your budget. So please, could you talk me through your budget? Please, could you talk me through your expectations? I can explain to you the value of these yoga classes, and maybe together we can work out a rate for me to charge you that is going to be best for both of us. Just do that. You know, I've had relationships with corporate companies. I was working daily for the NHS during COVID. And I remember quoting one rate saying, look, I know it's the NHS. I know you're struggling with COVID. You know, I really want to support you. So I'm going to offer you a lower rate. And the person came back and said, don't be so stupid. We've got a budget, and increased my rate for me. Okay, so have these honest conversations about pricing. Say, I really want to work with you. I want to find a price that you know, matches the value of what I have, but is good for you. So please, could you share to me a little bit more about your budget, your expectations, and let's find a win-win. So that disarming friendliness around pricing will go a lot further. And then lastly, on that friendliness, it's just considering your boundaries with your students. I'm not going to tell you what's right and wrong with this. You have to make this decision for yourself. But I do recommend you think through, where are your boundaries in relationship with students, especially if you're teaching one-to-one. And there's a lot of questions been coming up about that this week of how do people manage a 60-minute one-to-one. They always overrun because the person is wanting to have chats and conversations with you. My boundary on one-to-one is you have paid for 60 minutes of my time. If you want to spend 20 minutes of that chatting because, you know, you're feeling lonely, then great, fine, let's chat, and then we'll do 40 minutes yoga. Okay? But really decide where those boundaries are, and in amongst friendships as well. I have quite a strong boundary in that I don't make friends with my students. I would go for see a student for a coffee if they wanted to talk about something very specific. For instance, they were thinking about taking teacher training, but I personally wouldn't meet a student for a drink. I wouldn't go for coffee because that's a strong boundary I have. I have my friends and I have my students, but I'm definitely not telling you to copy that boundary. I'm telling you just to think through, what are the relationships you have with your students in terms of your boundaries and your energy there. So what have we covered? We've covered, get rid of those logos, turn to your face. If you're using the language of we, and it's just you, just say it's you. Not putting photos of yourself up because you think you need professional photographers. No, just be real. Overusing stock photography. Just use your real, beautiful self. Consider where you're maybe paying too much for packages and could you do things more simply. Consider where you're putting admin in the way of students being able to easy breezy come to your class. Remember, the most important thing is the conversation. Start using your personal Facebook page. Consider your boundaries in relationship to students, especially one-to-one, and being a little bit more raw, vulnerable, and honest in conversations around pricing. So I know it was all sorts of variety of things today. I hope that was helpful. Just one last reminder, we have doors closing today for Fast Track to Full. So if you would like to come do my 6-week business training, I would love to do it with you. You'll find all the details on the website or just message me. But thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week.